Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. How you doing today? You're at the spot. You're at my place where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Today we have Orly Amor, and I am so excited to have her back, Brains. She is a repeat offender, okay? She's a super brain, but we want to really kind of drill down on a few things. How many of you want to be a speaker? Oh, everybody wants to stand at the lectern with a mic in their hand and have, at least a minimum of 200 people in the audience. But it takes more than that. You've got to have chutzpah. You got to have courage. You have to have a message. You got to be clear. You got to be concise. You got to sell it. You got to close the deal. You got to be impactful, insightful. It's a whole laundry list of things. Now, don't be intimidated by that because it will come with the flow. But you need expertise because we hear ourselves all the time. How many times have you seen people on television with those cotton picking filler words? Uh, uh, um, um, um. Uh, eh, they're not giving themselves time to breathe. They have not practiced their message. They're not really clear on what they're doing. They don't know how to insert the sales component into it, and they don't know how to close the deal. But Orly is going to talk to us about that, her live events, and her nonprofit. So thank you so much for coming back. I'm so glad to have you.
Thank you, darling. The fun part is that I don't teach people how to speak. I teach them how to get paid.
Ah, well, if they
So
don't have those
I-
key components, how are they going to get paid?
they're going to get paid anyway. Well, because we all started somewhere. We're
Okay.
all started somewhere. So to get the fear out of the way to how to get paid is about the messaging, right? So I do a workshop once in a while where we master your message first so that you feel confident and comfortable to actually deliver it. Whether you're good at it or bad at it, it doesn't matter. You get
Really?
paid. Yes, really, you get paid. That's what they're paying for, the solution that you bring to the table.
Okay. So now that's coloring in the white space. Okay. So maybe it's changed since I've been out there speaking. But when I was out there speaking, Orly, it was a whole different deal. I could get 5 grand. I could get per diem. I could get my books sold or my service sold from the back of the room. It's a different thing now. When you're on some of these high profile platforms, sometimes you're paying to be on those platforms. Give us some of the things that people need to be aware of.
Okay, so yes, there is, it's still around the pay to play, speak to sell, speak for free, selling from the back of the room kind of thing. That's still around because people can get away from it. Uh, I don't deal with that because I get paid before I get on stage. And that's what I teach my clients is how to get paid for your knowledge. Your expertise is your knowledge. It's your intellectual property. It's been a long time coming where the industry has professed that this is, that you have to be a good speaker, that you have to have a website, that you have to have a book, that you have to, it's been a long time, but the reality is that none of these things are needed in order to get paid and booked as a speaker. It's just something that was trending in the industry and people still teach it and talk about it. And like the word niche doesn't even exist anymore. We don't talk like that in the industry.
Yeah, that drives me crazy. What is your niche? It feels like a stranglehold around your throat. It's like, you got to niche down.
Not really. It's good to have a solution, problem solving. That's what ones want to hire you for. And here's my disclaimer here is that no matter what you've been through in your life, you've until this minute, you've paid for it. You've paid for it with experiences, education, money, time, blood, sweat, tears, aggravations, ups and downs. You've paid for it. That's your intellectual property. Why would you give it away for free? That's my advocacy.
I get you. I get you. There's only two people, in my opinion, that work for free. That's a volunteer and a slave. But
Okay, that way.
it's
I have to steal that. I have to. I'm going to give you credit, but
no,
I have to
absolutely.
steal that. There's only two people that work for free. I love
And
it.
And with that, and I mean that with all humility, but money is energy. Money is
Mhm.
fluid,
And it needs to be exchanged.
and it needs to
Absolutely.
be exchanged.
I
It is
agree.
no more powerful than the value that you put upon it,
Mhm.
and knowing your worth,
Mhm.
knowing that you are
Absolutely.
worthy of being paid for what you do.
Absolutely.
I run into that podcast stuff all the time. Oh, I don't pay to be on a podcast. Well, you pay to be in a magazine. You pay to have a booth at a carnival, or a conference, and you don't value my work enough. You want me to blow you up and tell the whole world that you're wonderful, and then I do it for shit and giggles. It just doesn't make sense. And again, how am I going to pay it forward to someone else? So give them a couple examples of how they might be able to get paid before they get to play.
Well, first and foremost is you said something very important, and that's knowing your worth. Well, in this industry, there is what is called my value, what I think I deserve to get paid, and then there's industry value. What everybody needs to know is that there are 64,000 events a day in America alone that pay speakers.
Wow.
Yet most speakers are broke. They make less than $70,000 a year, which I don't understand. Minimum wage in public speaking is 150K a year. So why are we still struggling?
Mm-mm-mm.
There's two reasons why speakers get into this business. They get in it to feed their ego or feed their pocket. I'm here to feed their pocket. I don't care about their ego. I don't care if they're good or bad. They'll evolve like everybody else. We all evolve in our professions. The second thing is that this is an industry that makes a lot of money. It's right now a $113.2 billion industry, and they are predicting that by 2026 it will grow to 102. I'm sorry, $118.9 billion industry.
Woo.
So there's room for everybody. And whether you're listening to this now or in 2026 or in 2028, this industry is never going to go away. AI will not replace public speakers.
You heard that, brains? Because AI needs the content that the speaker is delivering to
Yeah.
store.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do people position themselves? What do they need when they come to you for coaching and for instruction?
Well, that's one thing that I do for them is the positioning. We can take a couple of people that speak about leadership. We need to position them differently because what happens with event planners, especially these days, is that everybody sounds the same,
Mm,
right? People who are speaking on leadership, they sound the same, they talk the same language. And therefore, event planners are like swiping over them because they've heard it all before. If it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck and it's a duck, and now we have another problem on our hands. Nobody's there to rejuvenate the industry. What's
mhm.
happening is that they keep hiring the same speakers over and over again, and it gets boring even for the attendees, to tell you the truth.
Right.
But they're better off with the devil they know than the one they don't, and that's why they keep hiring the same people.
Mm. And again, it becomes repetitive. And you've paid to be in 1-800 ballroom, and it's the same message. But in all transparency, there's nothing new under the sun. Everything is being repurposed, recycled, but you have to bring your personality, your spontaneity, your charm, your personal stories in it to make it unique and make it different, correct?
Absolutely. So there's four things that we can't teach speakers. We can't teach them personality. We cannot teach them charisma. We can't teach them authenticity. And we certainly can't teach them integrity.
Mm.
Those are the things that actually make you stand out in the crowd. Once you know how to deliver your message, once you know what your messaging needs to be and the solution you bring to the table, here are the 5 questions you need to answer for event planners. The number one is, who are you? Number two, what do you know? Number three, what problem are you solving? Number four, how are you solving it? And number five, why should I care? Not why should Orly care? Why should the event planner care? Why should the audience care? Because otherwise, you are talking like everybody else. And there's so many people getting into the business of public speaking every single day that you need to stand out.
Right. And connecting with your audience. Brains, from my experience, excuse me, it's not about me. It's about you. How do I connect with you? How do I elevate you? How do I answer questions that speak to you? I already know about me. And if I come on the lectern or come to the stage and I'm speaking solely about only my experience and it's not relatable, people tune out. They find you arrogant or cocky. You can weave in and out of that, but also closing the deal. Say, for example, you're at a sales conference or you're at a leadership conference. They never make the pitch. They never make the pitch, or they're selling their book. I had uh, situations where you have the book right next to you. If you find value in what I'm saying, if you want more, if you are enjoying this, pick up a copy of the book. It's right there. You have to also ask for the business. A lot of times, women, I find this especially, they think because you're up there and you're looking cute, you got your face beat with the makeup and the high heel shoes, that you're automatically going to get people lined up to buy your product. You've got to make the ask. Am I right?
Yes, and in some cases, when they pay you to speak, they don't want you to make the ask. What are you going to do then? And so I teach my clients how to do it. There is a way without pitching to the back of the room kind of a thing where everybody goes to the table in the back of the room. It's no longer a norm. It's usually now we might let you, we might not let you, because if we pay you to speak at a conference, we
Right.
don't want it to be, excuse the language, but we don't want it to be a selling shit fest, that every single speaker that gets up there sells something or offers something, because it gets to be annoying. And people are more and more apt to pay you to speak than to give you a chance to sell. You can have a table in the back of the room, whether you sell or not from the stage, you can still have a table in the back of the room so you can network and have your products or services out there, but don't make it a must and don't make it a part of your speech.
Okay. So, how do people start to evaluate what they might want to ask for? I mean, I know you're going to teach that based upon the subject matter, the audience size, and all that. But what? How do they value themselves? How do they start to value themselves or
You mean,
evaluate?
well, I mean, if you're just starting out and you have never been paid to speak, you basically fall between 1,000 and 5,000. But which one can you charge is the question. How do you scale? This is a scalable business. The first thing I would say is you got to treat it as a business. So no matter what, ask for the money. Whatever they give you, take it. It will build your confidence into getting paid first. So my first session with the client is normally about fee structure. It's a business. So you have to have a fee structure that you follow. It's like a business plan. You got to have one.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Right. And like you say, you can always ratchet up and don't leave money on the table
Exactly.
because it's like a vampire. Once you taste that blood, you're going to bleed out.
It's so funny.
You get
You
excited
are,
about that.
should have been a comedian, not a talk show host. I can tell you that. You're
But
funny.
you get excited about it, and then again you build your confidence, and then you start to incorporate your message. Then people come up to you and say, "Oh, I really resonated with this or that or this." What is the marketing that speakers should do now? Should they
Get
be
out there.
yeah, should they be like podcasts? Because I'm not seeing too many people do a lot of websites. I see them doing more of a what is that? A one sheeter, not a one sheeter. What do you call that?
A speaker sheet.
A speaker sheet, but not a speaker sheet. It's a landing page.
Okay. They don't even have to have one. So it doesn't really matter. Yeah, really. In my I host a PGA paid gig accelerator masterclass every single week. It's completely complimentary on Wednesdays. You can, I'll give you the link and you can share it with your audience and they can come whenever they want,
Absolutely.
all of that. It's every Wednesday. And I share 20 things that you've been told you need to be in this business and that you don't need. Like you don't need a website. You don't need a book. You don't need to be on podcast. You don't need to have a podcast. You can be on podcast, but it's not a stage. People call it a stage. It's not a stage. I don't care that you've been on podcast, but it is. Podcasting is really good. I mean, as a guest, because I love being a guest, as you can see right here. I love being a guest on podcasts, but I don't want to have my own. It's too much work. I don't know how you guys do it. I don't want to know, and I'm not interested. All I want is to be able to be a guest on podcasts so I can practice my message, so I can tell people what to do and how to do it and what the problem that I'm solving is and how I'm solving it. That's good enough. Um, you don't have to have a list or an email list. When people tell you that you need to have a list, it's like, it's ridiculous. You don't have to belong to a speaker bureau or the NSA. You don't have to have a TEDx talk. So many things you've been told that you need to have that you don't. In order to get paid as a speaker, you just need to be wanting to be out there and know your worth and know how to navigate the conversation with an event planner, know to navigate where to go and speak, where to find the gigs, how to talk to them, what to say first, second, and third, how to come. All of this is important in order to have the business of public speaking. Speaking is one thing, and it's an art form, and we always learn from it, and we always get feedback, good or bad. I love getting the feedback. But when it comes to the business side, there's so many people out there teaching the wrong thing. It hurts my heart. So I give it all in my PGA. If it's a good fit for them to work with me, great. But sometimes it's not. And so I give it all during the PGA. They can actually get booked within 90 days without hiring me.
Well, and I mean, you're no nonsense. You're like a bull in a china shop, really. No, really. I mean, you just go straight for the jugular. There's no playing around. Dial back a little bit and tell my brains a little bit about your experience and how you found yourself in this.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you for asking. Well, I was in property management for a very long time, and I was speaking all over the country, all over Canada. And then one day, one of my girlfriends asked me to speak at a women's shelter. And I said to her, what do you want me to speak about? Property management? And she said, no, silly. I want you to come and tell your story. And I said, oh, no, that's not going to happen. And I'm sure your audience are feeling the same way about their own story. Shame and vulnerable and don't want to be that in front of an audience. And I felt that. I didn't want to be judged or scrutinized or dissected. I just did not want to tell my story. And so she called me. I don't know if you have an annoying friend, but I have a few. And one of them called me every day for 3 weeks. And finally, I said to her, I said, why do you want me to tell my story? There's other people that talk about this subject matter. So why me? And she said, well, you have this bubbly personality. Everywhere we go, people hug you. We go to networking events. People who don't even know you hug you. And you're living a lifestyle that most people dream about. Come and give these people hope. Finally, I relented and I said yes. And then I spoke a couple of months later. I spoke at this women's shelter where it was really odd for me because something happened that didn't happen to me in property management. So I finished speaking and there was not one dry eye in the place. Usually in property management, everybody comes to me, oh, Miss Amor, we have a problem in our condo association. But in this case, it was not that at all. After I got off the stage, people were coming to me and hugging me and crying on my shoulder. Thank you for coming. Thank you for giving me hope. Thank you for sharing all of that. And then there was one lady that came up to me and she was crying profusely. We could not calm her down. And after a while, I said to her, I said, listen, sweetheart, you need to calm down. Everything's going to be okay. She's like, no, you don't understand. I said, no, I do understand. Sweetheart, breathe. You need to breathe. She was hyperventilating. And then after she calmed down a little bit, she said, no, you really don't understand. And then she took a piece of paper out of her pocket and she showed it to me. And she said, you see here, this is how I was going to kill myself this morning.
Wow.
In fact, I don't remember driving from my house to the shelter because you see here, it's not where I was going. But I heard you speak and I want to live. I just need you to show me how. And here I was, I lost it. I was literally in tears and I couldn't believe what had just happened. In my mind, it was not like, oh, wow, this is cool. It was like, oh my God, I just saved somebody's life.
Right, right.
That's when I went into my car, and this was one of my pivotal moments in my life because I've been speaking on property management for years, and then all of a sudden this happens, and it's the first time I ever did a motivational speech sharing my personal story. And what I say most of the time is you got to share your story. In the act of sharing this contribution, you never know whose life you're going to change. And that was my pivotal moment where I decided that this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit later than that, I was offered to speak in Arlington, Texas. But before that, I had a tour in Europe for 7 countries. And when I came back, I was in Arlington and I was standing in the break room for speakers. And these 3 guys came over to me, and one of them said, "Aren't you Orly Amor?" I said, "Yeah, do I know you? Sorry, don't remember." And they said, "No, we've never met before, but we've seen you on the circuit." I said, "Oh, okay. Phew." And here we are talking, just networking. And at one point, one of them says to me, "Listen, I'm just curious. How did you get this gig?" I said, "Well, I don't know. I called, I told them what I speak about. They paid me, and I'm here." They all looked at me like if I had 3 heads. "You got paid?" And I said, "Oh my God. You guys did it?" They said, "No, we got our expenses paid, but we didn't get paid." I said, "Oh no, I got paid and I got my expenses paid." And they said, "Well, we want to know how you did that." I said, "Well, if I tell you, I'm going to have to charge you," but I was just kidding. And before I could say just kidding, they said, "Okay, name your price." And that's when I realized that there's a problem in this industry.
Mm.
I was the only one in that event that got paid. And when I went to see the event planner, I said, "Listen, I think I just screwed up in there. I just told these 3 guys that I got paid to speak and they didn't." She's like, "Shh, you're the only one who got paid." I said, "Really? Why?" She's like, "They didn't ask."
That's right.
And that brings me back to what your point was. You got to ask for the money. Just ask, right? And yeah, so I created a program that guarantees anyone can make 150K their first year in public speaking, or I work with them until they do. I'm still, after 14 and a half years, the only coach in the world that guarantees that on paper.
Brains, you better try to run. Don't walk. Absolutely. That is crazy good. We're going to get to that and how they can sign up in just a moment. But you also have a non-for-profit. Tell us a little bit about that.
Right. So thank you for letting me share that, because that's really the heart of everything that I do. It's called You Are My Light, light.org. We are building healing centers for rescued victims of human trafficking, sex, and labor slavery, so that we can give them back their God-given right to life, freedom, education, and autonomy. We believe that everybody should live life free.
Mhm.
And you can get involved. We are looking for more people to join our advisory council. Of course, donations are very well welcomed. We will need an army, because we will need a lot of people to handle these healing centers, voluntary or employee. We're going to need that. And so any contribution is a good thing. And you can contact us directly from the website, or you can contact me directly from my website, meetorlyamor.com.
Well, I'm going to circle back around and connect with you because here in San Diego is one of the human trafficking hubs.
Yes.
And brains, what you have to understand is that they're not just doing it for labor, they're not just doing it for sex, but they're also doing it for body parts.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't realize that, or they're doing it for children. You know, there's families that have not been able to conceive. There's a lot of reasons, and it's big money. I think it's more money in the
150
human
billion
trafficking.
dollar.
Yeah,
Yeah, human trafficking has over is performed as far as drugs,
and guns. Yeah.
and guns. Cartels are getting in on the human trafficking business. So yeah.
Orly, repeat that for us again. Now, what is the name of the organization?
You Are My Light, Light. So YOUAREMYLIGHT.org.
Okay.
That's where you can see the website and get involved, become a volunteer, donate. Everything is on there right now.
Well, that's beautiful. Now, back to the business of speaking. Tell us about your upcoming and ongoing events that you have.
Thank you. So PGA, as I said before, Paid Gig Accelerator Masterclass is every single week on Wednesday. So you'll have the link for that and you'll be able to sign up for the time that is convenient for you. I also have sporadically Master Your Message, where you learn how to actually put your talk together that is impactful and delightful, right? I have a live 3-day event that also happens. It's called Amplify. Amplify this year is on the 19th to the 22nd of June, 2025, but it will happen every single year. So come back to the website, Amplify, and I will give you the link as well. Then we have our speakers cruise, and the speakers cruise is happening from the 26th of September to the 1st of October this year, plus 2 days of conference before we get on the cruise. And you really want to be a part of that as well. I'll give you the link. It happens every year. It's always amazing. Everybody at my live events get to be on stage. So you get stage time multiple times when you come to these events.
Well, I mean, you couldn't ask for anything more. You've got clarity, you've got wisdom, you've got understanding, and you're going to get paid. She says she guarantees that you're going to get paid. But also, you have an opportunity to pay it forward with supporting human trafficking, being an advocate for that against anti-human trafficking. And you're going to work with a fireball right here. This lady here, this is no joke. And I'm so excited to be a part of her network. And I'm going to go in, I'm going to check some of these classes because, again, as we started at the beginning of the interview, I've been away from the speaker stage for a long time. So I need to see what's up and what's into it. But what I do know how to do is know my value, make the ask, close the deal, give good service, because you got to give good customer service and you got to have a compelling story. Thank you so much, Orly, for being on the edge with me again. You
Thank
are always a blessing. I mean, just right to the jugular, as they say.
Thank you so much for having.
Yeah, tell me one more time how to get to your website. And you have a book too, don't you?
It's right behind me. Public speakers, you're not all that. 12 reasons why event planners won't hire you. I interviewed over 3,400 event planners that actually pay speakers for this book. It took me 4.5 years out of my own time and my own dime to get you the actual answers. And so, yes, you can go to meetorlyamor.com, meetorlyamor.com, and get on my calendar if you'd like to have a 30-minute conversation. It's completely complimentary. Again, just let's have a chat.
Well, you don't know what you don't know, Brains. And again, everybody's so excited about being a speaker. But what are you talking about? And are people listening or are they actually hearing? Thank you so much, Orly, for being with us. Brains, go right here. Go love, like, share, and subscribe to On the Edge with April Mahoney. You can find us on YouTube, Spreaker, LinkedIn, uh, Facebook, all over the planet. Just Google my name or Orly's name, and it's going to come up. Thank you again for being with us. You are always a blessing.
So are you.
All
Love
right.
you.
Love you too. Bye, Brains. Have a good day.